I feel like a lot of people were not expecting Unchained to be this good, and because of that, nobody really knows how to beat it. And you know, to be completely honest with you, that did include me not too long ago. But with the most recent results from YCS Sao Paulo, we now know that Unchained is a deck that you absolutely have to respect if you want to do well at a YCS this format. And I can tell you this, most non-engine cards are really weak against Unchained. The deck rejoices over the fact that most cards that are being played in the format right now are horrible against them. With that being said, the deck does have some flaws, and you need to incorporate them to your strategy if you want to have a chance against that deck. So today, I will let you know everything about them, as soon as you smash the like button. And yo, look, if you're not already subscribed to me, yo bro, I feel bad for you because you're missing out on so much. I'm literally doing your homework instead of you. Anyways, let's start off by briefly covering the concept of the deck. So they have a grand total of 7 different cards that actually trigger to special summon a monster from the deck whenever they get destroyed by a card effect. You know, that's a pretty decent amount because it includes monsters, spells, and traps. The deck is very capable of adapting itself to a mid-range style or a combo style. You can actually choose to play around Nibiru by only summoning Soul of Rage and not really doing much else, but then you're losing if your opponent doesn't have Nibiru and actually has a lot of gas. But if you're feeling like a savage, you can say screw that and just go for the Griffin combo, which is absolutely absurd. The Griffin combo is probably the best thing that the deck can do because you're going to be resetting your second Unchained Shop, the first one you're getting was Sarama, and you're also going to be getting a continuous floodgate, so you don't really have to play into triple tactic talents and ever activate a monster effect. And it's not like it was a 5-card combo, like the deck only has 1 or 2-card combos. So obviously Tour Guide plays on its own, but you also have combinations of either Orha or Sharvara, as well as any of the Unchained Shop cards, and that's always going to be full combo. And obviously there's way more ways of achieving the full thing. And of course, they only search for the deck once with the effect of Yama, so Joel is complete garbage against them. Again, just a few weeks or even days ago, everyone was saying how broken Joel was and how you absolutely had to play it. But you know, now people are slowly but surely recognizing their mistake and adapting in consequence. With that said, how should we go about stopping them? Ash can stop their first special summon from deck effect using their graveyard effect of any of the Unchained cards, but if they have any other extender, you're kinda screwed. And they can also chain block with cards like Abominable Unchained Souls, so it really doesn't help. Not to mention that Ash is once per turn, whereas their Unchained effect to special summon from deck is like up to 7 times per turn because they got 7 of them. Well, up to 7 because the continuous spell isn't really seeing much play, but you get the point. But look, if your opponent starts off right off the bat with a Pot of Prosperity banishing 6 cards, you can kinda tell that your opponent bricked, so you have to Ash that. As a matter of fact, I'm even willing to say that when it comes to Ash, you really want to Ash as early as possible. Oh, and by the way, I'm willing to say maybe the same thing with Skullmeister. It's better and worse because obviously you get to cover less cards, but at the same time it is not once per turn, so that's not too bad. Outside of that, hand traps like Effect Veiler are kind of low impact, and most of the time you're really just using them either on Tour Guide, which is kind of risky because they can dodge it with Sharvara, or you can use Veiler on the Yama and just pray to God that they don't have the extender to push through it. And Infinite Impermanence is a really interesting one because you can either choose to use it on your opponent's combo or actually hold it for your own turn to negate the Caesar or Griffin. And it goes without saying, but Nibiru is extremely good against them. Again, there is no reason to play around Nibiru because if they only play in 3 or 4 summons, they're not really doing much. And if they do summon multiple times and you Nibiru when they have 2 level 6s on the board, they're going to be losing everything and probably won't be able to recover. But again, it's a 2-card combo or even sometimes a 1-card combo, so they still have a few cards in their hand after that. Now, even though the Bestial monsters are kinda meh because they don't really stop them too much, at least they allow you to get Druidworm on the field, and it's actually a really good card against Unchained. So when Druidworm is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to send a monster your opponent controls to the grave, and that's really good at breaking the board because at least they're not going to be getting their effects when they're destroyed because, again, you're sending something, you're not destroying anything. And if you're banishing either Yama or Soul of Rage, at least you're kinda hurting them a little bit, at least for their recovery. Now, funny enough, DD Crow is actually way better at stopping them because if you banish their water guy, they're going to be losing a lot. Now, with DD Crow, when you're hitting their blue guy, you're actually kind of hurting their ability to go into Caesar, which is really good, and you're also kind of killing their grind game a little bit. And let's be honest, Ghost Bell is absolute piss, but that card should not be in your main deck anyways. And it kind of shouldn't really be in your side deck because it's only really good against Labyrinth and a few rogue decks, but apart from that, it's kind of shitty. DD Crow, on the other hand, at least has overlap with Purely, which is really interesting. Oh, and by the way, don't bother with complicated cards like Contact C or even Ibli because your opponent can just destroy them with Rakea or even Tribute Summon on top. Anyways, enough with hand traps. How about board breakers now? Evenly sucks, don't play it. They can use their trap card to destroy themselves and then keep the Caesar, and then on the resolution, they trigger a bunch of effects and then they revive back everything. And board wipes like Regeki and Darkhole almost help your opponents, so forget about it. You only have one option for board breaking, honestly. You need monster stealing cards like Mind Control, Change of Heart, Triple Tactic Talents, and maybe even Enemy Controller. Enemy Controller is extremely interesting if you can time it well when they use their trap card, because the trap actually has to destroy both targets. If it doesn't destroy exactly 2 targets, it will not resolve. So not only can you dodge that, but you can also steal their Caesar and then go into a Zeus and break the whole board. And the crazy part about Caesar is that you're going to be able to negate their Unchained Soul of Rage to negate their ability to link summon using your monster, which is kind of filthy. It's actually hilarious how one single card can actually kind of break their whole board when you think about it. You know, spell cards are pretty broken, and that's the reason why people are side decking anti-spell fragrance this format. I mean, you can't win them all, gotta lose to something at the end of the day, right? But do you know how to steal games against them when you go first? There are 3 ways of doing that. The first one is by being skillful at the game and drawing everything that you need. That is out of my reach. The second one is by being subscribed to my channel and liking this video. And the third one is by shutting down their graveyard plays. Apparently, Abyss Dweller is kinda nice if you understand what I'm trying to say. Card just says no to everything that triggers in the graveyard, including spells and traps, which Soul Drain doesn't cover. To be fair though, Abyss Dweller is not really a luxury that everyone can afford. I mean, if your deck can't summon rank 4 monsters, go for it, but at the same time, there is another solution for pretty much everyone. You could play Gravekeeper's Inscription, as it pretty much acts as a 2-sided Abyss Dweller until the end of your opponent's next turn. And there's also 3 different effects to choose from, so an Abyss Dweller-esque effect, a Sanafond effect, or kind of like an Imperial Iron Wall from the graveyard. Sprite decks can utilize it really well as maybe Kashtira. But then if you're playing this in Kashtira, make sure you don't summon a Rizard, because otherwise it's going to be counterproductive. And the reason why I say that is because the Unchained cards can still trigger their effects in the Banished when they're destroyed. They don't necessarily have to be sent to the graveyard. So they inherently play through Shifter just a tiny little bit, but they're not going to be doing too much. Actually, as a matter of fact, the best Unchained cards do rely on the graveyard, so Sharvara, Shiyama, Sarama, and Yama. But yeah, Gravekeeper's Inscription is really good against them. The bad news, quote-unquote, is that you do have to use it at the start of your main phase 1, so you can't really draw into it or search it with Prosperity. So in other words, it absolutely has to be in your opening 5 if you want to use it. Anyways, the last option is really similar, but at the same time, better and worse. I am talking about Silent Graveyard, which is a quick play spell card, and you do have to discard a card to use it, and that's kind of the issue. Again, it's pretty much a 2-sided Abyss Dweller, so it does hurt you, but if you're using it on your opponent's turn, you don't really care too much. And this one, you actually can draw into it or search it with Prosperity or anything else, and you're going to be fine. As for generic ways of beating Unchained, you have to be extremely conscious of their strategy and what they're trying to do. Almost all of their interruptions either target or destroy, so if you can play around that, then you're fine. Just play Magispector. Jokes aside though, if you're going second, then you can summon something like a Kiki Nagashi Fucho, Fortune Tune, or Baguska in attack position. You can really solidify a Zeus play going second. And Zeus is pretty much game against them if it resolves, because they don't really have too much to negate it. All of their interruptions outside of Caesar don't negate, so if you can resolve Zeus, you got it. But to be fair, everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is always a matter of case-by-case scenarios where you have to be taking the best decisions with the given circumstances. All we can do to have the odds in our favor is understand the theory of the deck as much as possible, deck build in consequence, and also practice as much as possible. Outside of that, RNG is always a big thing, so it's not like you're always gonna win even when you try your best. Anyways, that's all I had for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about Unchained, and if you think you have other ways to beat it in the comment section below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.